Mike Bloomberg is now out after spending more than $500 million in a vanity project to become president. And look, a few people deserve credit for taking him out. Obviously, Elizabeth Warren dealt him some major blows 2 debates ago. But I would make the case that the person who deserves the second most credit is joining us now on the show. Journalist, progressive activist, and host of the Benjamin Dixon Show. Benjamin Dixon, welcome to the Damage Report.
Thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Very glad to have you here. We've been wanting to talk to you for a while. This is the perfect topic, the perfect day, though. Were you surprised by the news this morning that Bloomberg was out?
No, not entirely. I mean, with all the other consolidations that took place, the other endorsements from Buttigieg, from Klobuchar, I expected this because, we all know, Bloomberg got in this to stop Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, particularly their wealth tax. So once they saw they had a route to reroute outside of Bernie Sanders and they could go through Joe Biden, I figured this was coming soon.
So there's a good chance that our audience already knows, but in case they don't, you are the journalist that unearthed the Xerox audio of Mike Bloomberg talking about stop and frisk. And I'm gonna say, as honestly as I've heard him, he admits that it's discriminatory there. He just happens to like that. He likes how brutal, how cruel it is. And so great work there. I'm just curious, like if we hadn't had that and a few of the other things that popped up, do you think that this race might have turned out very differently?
Yeah, I think it's possible that we could have faced the possibility of a Super Tuesday that coalesced around Michael Bloomberg. And I think that possibility, to me, it's very real, right? There was no guarantee that Joe Biden was going to get the boost that he got, and then we would have been looking at the party coalescing around Michael Bloomberg as some type of inevitable nominee. And I think that would have been far worse. Not excited about what happened last night on Super Tuesday, but it could have been worse because I think it could have been Bloomberg in that spot.
So yeah, I'm curious. I guess I know your opinion now. We were having a debate on our coverage yesterday, myself and Ben Mankiewicz, about who would have been the worst general election candidate, if it had to be Biden or if it had to be Bloomberg. And I personally believe Bloomberg would have been a far worse candidate and indeed president. Where do you come out on that?
Yeah, I think, well, it's hard to tell now. I think Joe Biden is going to be uniquely bad to run against Donald Trump for some key things. But I do believe that he would be a better president than Michael Bloomberg. Michael Bloomberg is a certified Republican oligarch with a track record of authoritarianism in New York. I just don't think we would have wanted to risk that as the nominee or the president.
So look, there's a lot more that we want to talk about in a bit about the race, including Elizabeth Warren, how we see the race shaping out. But one last question on Mike Bloomberg, though. He has already endorsed Joe Biden. How concerned are you for the future of the race about the possibility that we're now seeing not only a huge set of staff and offices for Joe Biden in all these states already set up, but possibly 1 or 2 or 6 or $800 million in anti-Sanders ads?
Yeah, I think it was inevitable. I think we idealistically underestimated how hard the establishment was going to fight against Bernie Sanders. And when Michael Bloomberg says that he was going to spend that money, I guarantee you he's going to spend it right now. That cash is going to come out right now. And so the odds are against us, but it's definitely not over. I think grassroots organizing outdoes spending money, as evidenced by the audio clip that we found that set Michael Bloomberg back. I mean, it was an alley-oop. Elizabeth Warren definitely slammed. She definitely dunked on him several times in the debate. But that just goes to show you sometimes money isn't everything in politics.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.